So welcome to our review of Tales of Arise on the PS4, on the PS5, on the Xbox One, on the Xbox Series X, and on PC. But we're reviewing the PS5 version of the game, and we played the demo like a lot of you out there, and we really liked it. So we're like, geez, we're going to get a lot more of the same in this game. And you do, for sure. There's a lot to talk about here. It's a very big game. We just finished today at the 40-hour mark. And we did most of the quests and did mostly everything in there. But I think we can stretch it as well to about 50 to even 60 hours.
You can have so much time in this game for sure.
Yeah, to do so many extra things. And the one thing that I want to say is this will not be a spoiler review.
Right.
Okay? We really want to say that to begin with. We're only showing stuff from the very beginning of the game. And not to the ends of the game and all that kinds of stuff, because that just ruins it. Why would you want to play this game if we show you everything?
You want people to figure it out for themselves.
Yeah.
Have fun for themselves.
Have fun for themselves, exactly. And so this is going to be very, very hard to do.
That too.
I'm going to describe the story without spoiling it. And it's about people who are repressed, fighting for freedom. And two people from different worlds work together to try to shape a brand new future.
Wow.
Yes.
Way to go.
That's the best that I can do.
Nicely done.
And I want to say that the story to begin with starts off very, very simple, right?
It does, yes.
And as it goes along, it gets a little bit more crazy. And at the end, it gets crazy. That's all we'll say, and we'll leave it at that. So what do you think about the graphics of this game? Everybody's been talking about them. Do they live up to the hype? What are your thoughts on them?
Definitely lives up to the hype.
Yeah.
I mean, like, everything down from the character design all the way to the landscapes, the towns, too, are really well done. I mean, it kind of starts off simple.
Yes.
You find that too?
Yeah.
And then it just kind of gets more intricate.
The game's graphics are very good.
Yes.
But in the beginning of the game, you're kind of in like some canyon areas, and it's like, okay.
I just didn't want to give too much.
Yeah, I know. And then you get into some snow areas, and then you get into some foresty areas, and then some crazy areas later on. And the graphics, I swear to God, get better and better as you go.
I think that's what it was too. I mean, it just kept getting better. The development of it all kept getting better.
Yeah.
And you got really absorbed
into the world and into the graphics. The frame rate was really beautiful. Like, I want to say that the graphics for me feel like a watercolor shading.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah, and they're really, really good. And we're gonna get into combat and stuff like that. But I want to say, because we cannot show you these, the boss encounters are unbelievable.
Beautiful.
Really beautiful, as well as regular monsters that you fight in the game.
For sure, but something about the boss characters, they do such a good job on the details and everything.
And they're huge, they're gigantic. We can't show that, which is really frustrating, because we want to really, gush about the good aspects of the game. The only thing about like characters, monsters, and stuff like that, they reuse a lot of assets.
Yeah, a lot of the skins kind of get reused. Which that was probably my only downfall about the game. Yeah. I guess, because when you go through certain areas, such as like the snow, you expect snow monsters versus, I don't know, when you go to the forest, you expect forest, but they just kind of replace the colors on them.
On some of the enemies.
That was it. That's my only issue.
Yeah, and they do that in every RPG, so I don't really hold it too against them. A lot of assets are reused throughout the game, but that's because there's so much money put into this. Right. And another thing to talk about that was a bit of a surprise for me, I don't know if it was for you, was all of the anime cutscenes.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was fun, and I didn't expect it.
No, neither did I.
Like, there's a whole opening anime scene, which is great. I mean, that's not ruining anything. That's part of the opening animation as soon as you turn on the game. Yeah. And I was like, oh, good. I always love the return to anime cutscenes and things like that. And then there's also the cutscenes while characters are talking.
There's that, because it's almost like a comic book.
Yeah.
In some regards, they do like a side thing with like comic book strips, which I thought was great. That's such a unique idea.
Yeah, and
to put into the game.
And it really pushes ahead the story. Yeah. So you have the overall story that's going on, and then you can get the characters to chat and all that.
And discuss what's more in depth of what's happening.
Yeah, and it just shows you a different way for the characters to evolve with each other, and for the story to develop in a totally different way throughout. And I really like that. They did that in Phantasy Star 4, and they've done it in some games since then, and I'm always happy to return to that. I've talked to friends about it over the years. We're always like, oh wow, they're doing things like that again, which is really, really good. So as for the gameplay, there's a lot to do in this game. It's an open world concept game, I'll call it that, because there's different sections that you can go into, and sections within sections of that.
I found that, if you want to go somewhere, it just goes more in, and you're just like, the map just gets crazy.
It gets crazy, but there's no overall world map.
No.
Right? So you'll go to a different section, and then the sections within that section. So that's really good. The map features, what do you think of the map features?
At first I thought, it's kind of like how it just kind of lays it out for you right away. I personally like the discovery of maps, you know what I mean? How it's like, blacked out and you discover where you're going. But when you see the map that you're on, you think, God, it's huge. Like, I have a long way to go. It's not that far to go.
No.
So that I kind of appreciate when I had to go from A to B.
Yeah. It was kind of neat because there is a big sense of exploration. They kind of open it up and give you that feeling rather than being just a hallway or something you go down. You can kind of go off the beaten path and discover a lot of things, and that is where a lot of the fun comes in.
And you want to do that because that's where a lot of the gear is at, so you definitely want to go off and have fun.
And one aspect of this game that Kim really liked, she pointed out to me in the beginning, and I was like, oh yeah, that's quite handy.
You can always keep track of who you talk to in the town, which is phenomenal. Like, when you walk in and you see that they have a speech bar above them, and you're done, check mark.
Yes.
A check mark. And I was like, wow, that's great, especially when you're like going around and you get lost and you sidetrack. You're like, oh, who have I talked to, who I haven't talked to?
Yeah.
This game kind of goes, yep, you've already talked to this person. You don't need to do it again.
That's a handy thing. I mean,
I don't know why.
It's funny that you say that. I mean, when you pointed it out, I'm like, oh yeah, I like having that happen, so you don't overdo talking to people. I've done that so many times. In RPGs over the years.
Or when you get stuck in a conversation.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh god, I gotta do this again.
Yeah. Oh, many times.
Oh yes.
So there is side quests to do in this game. What do you think of the side quests?
Well, I love side quests. Anytime there's a game with side quests, I'm into the side quests.
Yes, for sure.
They're fun. I mean, the reason why you do side quests is to get your gold, to get your skill points that helps you later on, and also you can get fun equipment, which is definitely important. And I thought they're quite easy to do. I mean, when something gets highlighted, you get a star on the map, so you know where you're going. I always like knowing the direction of where I'm going in side quests, and that's what this game definitely does.
Is there a lot of side quests in this game?
Well, it kind of starts off small when you enter a town, but once you're done in the area, all of a sudden the side quests start popping up.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of strange, because usually when I go somewhere new, I like to get really involved in that area, not just get there, finish what I need to do, and leave, but stick around.
Right.
So that makes sense?
Yes, kind of making you go back to a place you've already been, and then you're doing side quests. You're like, okay, maybe I should be doing that first, and then building up my character, then finishing it off, and all that. There's fishing in this game.
Of course, there's fishing.
Of course, there's fishing.
What?
There's fishing in so many RPGs.
So many RPGs. When I saw the dock, I was like, there's gonna be.
You can swim in this game. You can climb in this game, and there's cooking in this game.
Oh yeah.
So when you get around a campfire with your buddies, you can make certain meals. We've seen this in other RPGs as well.
Yeah.
It's a big trope these days. But you can make meals, and you can use those as buffs for later on in combat. Now I have to bring up something here, something that me and Kim were talking about the entire game, and that is the collecting of the owls.
Owls, yes, I love owls. Owls are my bird. They're gorgeous things. And when I thought, oh, you get to collect owls, that's pretty neat. But there's something weird about these particular owls, is the noise they make.
Yeah, like, in certain kind of RPGs, if there's like mascot-y characters, they kind of do a little voice and it makes sense for
like
the character.
Moogles?
Like Moogles, I was just thinking of that. Yeah, and it seemed to make sense. But these owls, you got to search for them all over the place, and they all have different voices at times. And so you'll all of a sudden be walking around and you hear this hoo-hoo.
Or hoo-hoo.
Yeah.
Just like, what?
And it's kind of weird. It's a little bit creepy, and you're like,
it's a human voice.
It's a human voice. It's not like it sounds like it's an animally fun voice.
No, it's trying to be alluring and stuff.
Yeah, and it's the one thing in the game that we thought was a little bit off-puttingly strange.
And it gets so annoying because you gotta search for these owls, and it gets to the point where I'm like, where is this damn owl? I can't find it anywhere. And there it is. It's in a bucket.
It's in a bucket or something like. Yeah, I know.
But that noise.
And then so you can trade those owls levels in for certain items later on and stuff like that.
Yep.
And so that's a bit of fun. Yeah, I just want to mention that the voice acting overall, it's pretty good.
Acting, yeah.
Yeah, it's overall.
So you're talking about the owls.
Yeah, that voice acting is a little suspect.
But the voice acting, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, we played it in English.
Yeah, we played it in English.
I usually play in Japanese, but we're like, you know what, sounds pretty good.
You did
and
a
then,
good job.
yeah, sometimes it's a little bit hoo-ha, a little bit cheesy at times, but
Of
overall, I thought it was a pretty solid state of affairs. And you can also raise livestock in the game. I didn't know that before. I didn't know that.
Who doesn't like doing farming?
It's so weird.
It was definitely my game. I was like, oh, John.
So what happens with raising the livestock? I didn't film any of that stuff.
I mean, you get to keep it as meat.
Yeah.
And that's good for when you're camping.
Wasn't there like horse meat as well?
There was horse meat.
I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah, there's horse meat. So and it's good for trading if you need money and stuff like that. But it's mostly for for when you're at a campsite and you need to make your meals between everybody. So.
Right. Give me that horse meat. Okay, we're going to talk about combat. A lot of people want to know about the combat. Is it fun? Is it engaging? It's a Tales game, so it's an action RPG style of combat where you can run around the enemy, you can roll, you can evade, you can do combos, regular attacks, combined attacks, boost attacks, call other characters in. You can do strike attacks.
Yes.
There's a lot of different things here. You're realistically only in control of one character at a time, and then you can issue other commands for characters to follow through. Yeah, so you can bring them in, but you can also have other characters heal a little bit more, attack a little bit more aggressively, so you can change that up.
The strategy, right?
The strategy. But I'm telling you, always bring some heal items with you.
Oh my gosh.
Because you'll be waiting for some of those characters to heal you, and you're like, you're not healing me.
You're not doing it.
You're not doing it. You're not doing
close.
it. And then so you use an item for yourself that way. And there's also the CP meter. What is that for?
For cure points to basically help you heal during gameplay.
Right. So the more attacks you get on an enemy, the bit more it builds up in there and allows you to do more heals and all that kind of stuff. And also the thing that you want to be hitting is the core weakness on the enemy.
Definitely.
It's an orange orb located somewhere on the enemy.
On the enemy, and it helps like bring them down faster. And definitely, I recommend that when you're in a really bad boss fight, go for those first. Yeah,
go for the core point and take that out and all of that. And what did you think of this combat? Because you've never done combat quite like this before.
Not as intense, and I loved it. I thought the design of it all was great. It kept me really in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not only that, you got to bring in other characters, so you all kind of got to get in there and fight, and I loved it. And when you do special boosts, oh my gosh, what they did for those cutscenes, I never got tired of it.
No.
Through all the time that we were playing, never got tired of it.
No. It's a beautiful style of combat. I must say the enemies look really, really good.
Yeah, the boss ones.
And especially the boss ones, which again, we won't show because we're nice people that way, but trust us on that. Some of them, I remember sitting there saying this to Kim, I'm like, oh my God, Kim, look at this. I gave it a sight to behold.
You just want to sit there and look, but then you're going to die, so you got to attack.
And some of the combo attacks, like you were saying, are just so beautiful, and combat is a visual tour de force. Here is a tour de force, and then that gets into building up your character and skill points.
Yeah, doing the skill points, and with that you got your tiles.
Yeah.
And by doing that you get special moves and stuff. I mean, that's when the addiction really hits, because there's so many to do.
Yeah, and you're just trying to figure out what should I spend my points on?
Yeah.
What am I, the really good one to definitely get right off the bat if you can afford it is taking you down to KO.
The KO,
to have one hit point left.
Oh.
Very important if you get knocked out by an enemy.
You're the one who pointed it out. I'm glad you chose that one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for that.
It saved our bacon so much in the game because of that. And so there's a lot of choices that you can make with your characters. And I'll say this much, that your character does change throughout the game, and you can change their aesthetic looks as well. There's DLC costumes and things if you want to go that direction. They're pretty ridiculous costumes.
We always stick to the original.
Yeah, we're pretty much. Now we come to the section where we talk about the music and the sound effects. I think the sound effects and all that are really good. The music is a very strange thing. Me and Kim have had a lot of conversations while we play the game. There's some bits in the music that really fit really well.
Yeah.
And some songs that sometimes just don't fit so well.
It's over the top.
It's over the top. It's kind of like some songs are like Lord of the Rings, epic and choir and all of this, and you're just kind of running down the street or something, and it's just a little over the top.
Opera and everything.
Yeah,
going.
it's like powerful, and it's sometimes just a little bit. It doesn't quite suit the game.
It's kind of disconnected.
Yeah.
It's really well done.
It's really well done. That's what we're talking about. The music is really well done. And for most times, it feels fitting. The combat music is excellent and all of that. But sometimes it just sounds like a little grandiose for what it sometimes is.
Yeah.
So we got to come down to the end. And this is what I want to say about the game. And Kim's going to chime in. This, to me, is a game of the year. RPG of the year, very solid RPG. If you're looking for a big game, there's 40 plus hours of gameplay there. There's engaging characters. There's a storyline that starts off very simple, gets very, 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 very crazy, we'll say, and a host of characters that you come to really like. You get to know these characters, and you're rooting for them along the way. And there's some really cool sci-fi moments in the game with other planets, and that's not spoiling the game or anything like that. It's really a fascinating ride through, and the demo touches on that.
Just a bit.
Just a little bit. So if you played the demo, there's a lot more here. This is a very big budget game. I want everybody to know that this is not a small style RPG.
Yep.
This is grandiose in concept and in execution, and I really liked it. What did you think?
I loved it. I mean, I'm glad we got to experience it. It was a beautiful game from start to finish, and I really care for the characters, and that always brings me to really love a video game is if I care about the characters.
Yeah.
And I do. They're not just something I'm kind of about. You get so involved with them and how they grow as people, really.
Yeah, and you get to see how much they communicate with each other throughout, and how they're all tied together, and all that. And everybody's tied together in this game, and it's really fascinating how it all plays out. So, yes, if you've been wondering, is it a solid RPG?
Definitely.
It absolutely is. Yep. And in time, we will know, with what everybody else thinks, if this is an epic RPG that will be remembered for a very long time. I'm not going to forget it anytime soon. No. That is for sure. And it's one of the really big RPGs that we played on the PS5. And it really, really looked nice. So anyways, guys, until next time.